Okay, welcome. So this is the New York Jets 2015 midseason update. So currently the New York Jets are 5-3 on the year, and they play the Buffalo Bills tomorrow night on Thursday night. So the three losses that the Jets had were to the Eagles, the Patriots, and the Raiders. But we'll start with Week 1, where the Jets beat the Cleveland Browns 31-10. And I'm not going to go through every single score here, but we'll just talk about some of the high points of each game. This was a game in which Chris Ivory had 20 carries for 91 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick making his first appearance in a regular season game for the New York Jets and throwing touchdown passes to Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall. And this game, incidentally, was against Johnny Manziel, who was the quarterback for the Browns. Ryan Fitzpatrick on the day, 15 of 24 for 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And also this was Todd Bowles' first official regular season game as head coach of the New York Jets. So I think the story here for this game was that Ryan Fitzpatrick was moving the football and doing a little bit better job than we had thought. The Jets in prior years had a pretty weak offense, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was getting the job done. And the defense, of course, we knew the Jet defense was going to be good this year, and they really shut down the Browns. So Jets 31, Browns 10. Okay, next week was really a surprise to everyone, including myself. Jets against the Colts, and the Jets beat the Colts 20-7 on a Monday night game. Andrew Luck really not looking the same as he has in the past for the Colts. So this was a game in which Brandon Marshall had 7 catches for 101 yards. He had a touchdown. Eric Decker had a touchdown. Darrelle Revis on defense had 2 fumble recoveries for the Jets and 1 interception. Nick Folk, a couple of field goals. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 22 of 34 for 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So Andrew Luck for the Colts actually threw 3 interceptions in this one. So I think before the season started, everybody was looking at Andrew Luck as some sort of a football god, and he was just going to, take the Colts right to the top of the division, and really that hasn't happened. So that's been a big story in the NFL this year. Okay, so Jets beat the Colts 20-7. Okay, next game was the Jets against the Eagles. Now, back when I did my prediction video back in April, and I had read the Bleacher Report. The Bleacher Report said the Jets just have a terrible history playing the Eagles, so I pretty much knew that the Jets were going to lose this one to the Eagles, and they did. Eagles beat the Jets 24-17, and this was a game in which Darren Sproles of the Eagles ran back a Ryan Quigley punt, 89 yards for a touchdown. So Sam Bradford in at quarterback for the Eagles. Jets, Brandon Marshall and Jeremy Curley had touchdowns for the Jets. For the Eagles, Ryan Matthews, 24 carries for 108 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Jets in this game threw 3 interceptions. So just one of those disaster kind of games that we sort of knew it was going to be. Okay, now next game was Jets versus the Dolphins, and this was the game that they were playing in Wembley Stadium, and I had said back in April, I actually thought the Jets would lose this game, and I said it was going to come down to which team better prepares their team to play overseas, meaning you've got a time change in there, you've got a long flight, you've got a new practice schedule, the whole bit, and Jets actually did a really good job, and they started out doing very well. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a 58-yard pass in the first series to Brandon Marshall, set the Jets up on the 15-yard line, and after a couple of runs by Chris Ivory, they were in for a touchdown. Then Ryan Fitzpatrick, a 10-yard pass to Eric Decker for a touchdown. Later on, Zach Stacy had a 2-yard run for a touchdown. Nick Folk had a couple of field goals in this one, and Jets were really just running all over the Dolphins. Chris Ivory over 160 yards rushing. Dolphins just had no answer for the running game of the New York Jets. And after that, Coach Joe Philbin of the Dolphins was fired. Now, when you look at the Dolphins on paper, okay, they've got some pretty good players here. You've got Lamar Miller, running back, Jarvis Landry, wide receiver, Rashard Matthews, wide receiver, and Ndamukong Suh, defensive tackle. I mean, they've got some really strong players on defense, but unfortunately on paper, but you don't play on paper, you play on the field, and just hasn't worked out for the Dolphins the way everybody thought it would have before the season started. So, yep, Dolphins firing their coach, Joe Philbin. Okay, next game, Jets against the Redskins. And back when I did my predictions, I just said Jets are going to win this one simply because what do the Redskins really have? They don't have a great offense? No. Do they have a great defense? No. So Jets winning this game 34-20. Chris Ivory with a 1-yard run for a touchdown. Jets a little sluggish during the first half, but then Ryan Fitzpatrick 18-yard run himself for a touchdown. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick, a 35-yard pass to Brandon Marshall for a touchdown. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a 2-yard pass to Eric Decker for a touchdown. And Nick Folk, a couple of field goals there. This was a game in which Chris Ivory had 20 carries for 146 yards. So Jets beating the Redskins 34-20. Okay, next game was against the Patriots. We kind of knew this was going to be a tough day. The hope was that the Jets just keep it close. Jets losing this one 30-23. So this game started out with Steven Gostkowski of the Patriots kicking a 38-yard field goal after a Ryan Fitzpatrick fumble. And then Fitzpatrick to Jeremy Curley, 5-yard touchdown pass. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 9-yard pass to Chris Ivory for a touchdown. But eventually Brady figured out the Jet defense and hitting the usual suspects, Danny Amendola and Rob Gronkowski for touchdowns. Rob Gronkowski on the day, 11 catches for 108 yards. And the defense actually did a really good job of shutting down Chris Ivory. Chris Ivory, 17 carries for only 41 yards. Patriots win this one 30-23. Okay, next game, another disaster game for the Jets. However, you know, the Raiders, I believe in the prior week they played San Diego and they just blew out San Diego. So there were kind of hints that something was up with the Raiders, that this wasn't the pathetic Raiders team that everybody thought before the season, that the Raiders were actually much better than people thought. So opened up with Derek Carr, 5-yard touchdown pass to Andre Holmes. Jets really never even in this game. Then a 36-yard pass by Derek Carr to Michael Crabtree for a touchdown. Then a 49-yard pass to Andre Holmes for a touchdown. Then Derek Carr, 59-yard touchdown pass to Tawan Jones. So Jets just sort of getting blown out. Raiders pretty much just doing whatever they wanted to do. Latavius Murray of the Raiders, 20 carries for 113 yards. Now this was the game in which Ryan Fitzpatrick hurt his thumb. I think it was on the 6th play of the game. Geno Smith came in. You know, he did okay, but really it was the defense that played poorly in this one. Darrelle Revis getting burned, Cromartie getting burned. Jets just not doing a good job overall. Now, if you look at the Raiders on paper, they've got a really, really good team, and we're starting to see the results of that. You know, people like Michael Crabtree at wide receiver, Tawan Jones running back, Derek Carr at quarterback, Latavius Murray at running back, Amari Cooper, who's leading all the rookies, I believe, at wide receiver, and Charles Woodson at safety, having just a lot of interceptions this year. Okay, next game was against the Jaguars, and the Jets beat the Jaguars 28-23. Now, this was a game I really thought the Jets would do a much better job of blowing out the Jaguars, but it was a close game. I had heard something that Blake Bortles said to his team, hey guys, this is like a championship game. And, you know, to their credit, the Jaguars played pretty well. They hung in there with the Jets. Okay, so Jets after this game were 5-3. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, 7-yard pass to Eric Decker for a touchdown. Chris Ivory, a couple of 1-yard runs for touchdowns. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 20-yard pass to Brandon Marshall for a touchdown. Blake Bortles had a 30-yard pass to Allen Hurns for a touchdown, and Blake Bortles had a 20-yard pass to Brian Walters for a touchdown. Chris Ivory in this one of the Jets, only 23 rushes for 26 yards, an average of 1.1 yards per carry, way down from where he was against Miami or the Redskins. But overall, Jets are 5-3 on the year. doing pretty well this season, and they play the Buffalo Bills tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.